who pulled up for a catch-up. It's really here from 947 afternoons. And if you're here, it means you've got taste. Go ahead, enjoy the moment you missed. But don't ghost me. Weekdays 12 to 3 p.m. on 947. I'm loud and way more fun in real time. And yeah, there's more audio magic waiting for you right here on Prime Media Plus. Wake up with a bang.
Hey, wake up!
Anele and The Club
On 947.
Listen, whether it is you who is looking to rent something, whether it is your children, right? Everybody's off to first year now, and you have to like find them student accommodation, and maybe the races are full, and then you have to rent them a house. But basically, I personally believe that at every corner you turn in the rental field, there's somebody looking to just schneid you out of your money, bruh.
Look, I mean, everyone is going to rent at some stage. It's very rare that you'll jump straight from your mother's house
into buying a house.
Into where you buy, right?
Yeah.
So at some stage, you're going to be renting. And that's where all these tricky things come from. Like you say, it just feels like someone's always taking money from you.
Somebody's for instance, if Cape Town, everybody was having a meltdown. They are now looking for 3 months rent as a deposit. So if you're renting something for 20 grand, you must now fork out 60,000 and your rent.
They still ask for the deposit. So they want 3 months rent up front, and then they want the deposit. So your deposit would be like a month's rent anyway. So that's 80,000 rand if you were renting something for 20 grand a month.
That's ridiculous.
Up front.
No, guys.
I just think what it does is you're pricing people out of housing.
Totally.
Essentially, because think about it. If you got a call today to start a new job in Cape Town at the end of March, how many people realistically would be able to raise enough money to put down a 3-month deposit on an apartment? Unless
the company that's relocating you pays for it. But how often does that happen? It's always such a, no, I got a relocation fee. Like, whoa, they really, really want you. So, and then Frankie, you were telling us that story. This is wild. Just stop what you're doing, because I like a spicy story. What scandal? Listen to the story.
So, and I think some people might have gone through this here. And we'd love to hear your story. But this is an actual story from Cape Town. It was a dad helping his kid get together in like a commune, right? So she and her friends wanted to move into a commune. So they found a place being rented out as a commune, and they all sort of applied to be part of it. Then they got the little contract, and on the contract, the admin fees were charged per person. So you had to pay a registration fee per person living in the house. There were 4 of them.
This is the first I've ever heard of a registration fee to rent.
So because they're renting one place, right?
And the lease is under one name.
Yes, it's under one name.
That then should be the person who pays the registration fee, not the other 3 people living in the house.
Why is this like an Airbnb booking per person?
Right.
So that's exactly it. So the property agent in charge of this charged per person admin fee. And then the other thing that was on the little bill that they received was a cleaning fee before they move in. So to make sure that the place is spotless before they move in.
Now, I've heard of cleaning fee when you leave, right? If you don't do the cleaning yourself. So now this here landlord thinks they're smart. They're making money from the cleaning fee of the person who's leaving.
Yes.
And then they're making money because it's okay, I'll move into a dirty house.
Yeah, that's why the dad was helping his daughter and her friends sort this out.
He said, bollocks.
The dad said, bollocks, what is this? And they just went through, because the fees all added up. This is besides the months of rent and stuff up front. He was like, why are we charging, it's costing us 5,000-6,000 rand just to move into this little house in an admin fee and cleaning fee scenario. Why are we paying 6,000 rand for this?
Okay, so here's what we want to talk to you about, and you talk to us, and we have a conversation here. Call us 011-8838-947. What are the hurdles, the little glitches, the little snags that you've run into in trying to rent a property? And we're going to have somebody on here who is an expert in the rental field of things to say to us, no, that's not allowed.
Yeah, that's...
Because the thing is, you never know actually what you are allowed, because at that time, you're also desperate because you're looking for a place, right?
Well, I think that's the big thing for most people, is that you are desperate. You have to find a place to stay now. So there are red flags. When you go through the things, you're like, these are all red flags.
They're taking me for a ride.
They're taking me for a ride, but I have to do it because I need a place to stay, right?
They're taking you for a ride. Half the stuff that they want you to pay for it's not allowed, but they know that they'll get away with it because you're desperate for a place to stay. So we want to discuss it. We want to shame them. What does Thembekile say? Call the devil and name a thing, what?
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
That's the guy. 011-8838-947. Send us a voice note 084-0000-947. Let's chat about rental scams.
Yeah, you feel like it's a scam.
Scams. Rowan, good morning in Winchester Hills.
Hi.
How are you, Rowan? Hi. See.
All right, thanks. And you, Anele and The Club?
We're great, Rowan. Rowan, that's the accent I want when I'm speaking to Calvin Harris.
First time on the radio. So yeah, actually a great fan of your show. Just a quick one. I actually left Limpopo to come back to Joburg to join your club. So yeah,
really?
I missed you all. Yeah, I actually missed the conversations you'll have. So yeah.
Rowan, was Capricorn FM and The Club not doing it for you?
No. It's too much mampimpis there. So
What other bad decisions have you made lately?
let's not get into it. Getting back to the topic, the rental nightmare I went through the worst ever.
Oh no.
So it was, firstly, moving in was a nightmare. They charged me a whole lot of ridiculous prices of cleaning up the property and all that. Eventually paid because you're in a desperate situation. You need to move in. Secondly, try moving out. They gave us the whole nightmare of running around, not getting our deposit, telling us we didn't fix this. And I went the extra mile of getting the place up to standard myself, my partner and I. We painted everything over. We did a deep clean and everything. And they came out and said, oh, no, sorry, we're not giving you all the deposit back. And then I had to go as far as doing some research, came back and I had to threaten them with the ombudsman. And that's only when they came out and they started refunding our money. So this agencies, just be careful. It's a scam. And they're out there to eat our money.
Okay, so yeah. I get the cleaning when you're moving out. I don't get the cleaning when you're moving in. If you are a landlord and this is something that you put in your contract, please call us and tell us, like, how does that make sense that you're charging people twice to have
for
this
the same thing.
To have this thing cleaned?
Because also, guys, if I'm renting your property, arriving to a clean space is the least I can ask.
Exactly.
I mean, when you get to a hotel, the beds are made.
Yeah, you don't pay, once again, you don't pay a service fee for them to make the bed,
It's just wild for me. When you're going into a place, it should be clean. Why is it my job to clean the person that was here before? And then granted, when I'm leaving, I must also clean. So why am I cleaning both ends?
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
Do you have voice notes? How does it make sense?
I once rented this place, the agency and everything, guarantee the guy is not paying the house. And one day, I come and then there's sheriff, like they want to take the things. We had to produce like receipts and everything to show that we are renting there.
I wanted to move to Midrand. So now all these new developments are charging a spot to park your car. So now you have to pay extra 500 Rand a month to park your car. Then they're charging a solar fee because they've got solar. So like if there's no electricity, then you've got solar. Then they're charging a fee for taking out the rubbish as well, whatever they call those fees.
If you're just tuning in, we are trying to get to the bottom of all of these things that are, put into your contract for your rental when you're leasing an apartment or a house or whatever. And I think the one thing that stood out for us was one of you, the listeners, said they had to pay a cleaning fee to go in.
You had to move in.
And then also in the contract it says you'd have to pay a cleaning fee to get out. Make it make sense. That's just somebody making extra money off their tenants. That's scamming. And surely there should be some sort of tribunal or ombudsman that we can report this to.
No, there is. There definitely is. I think we'll speak to someone who can point us in the right direction.
And the reason I want to make this public is that, guys, if we all refuse to pay it, then they won't have tenants. Because there's always somebody willing to pay it, and that's what they're banking on.
Well, I think everyone gets pressured into it because you need a place to stay.
You need a place to stay. Alex and Santon, talk to us. What rental scams did you uncover?
Yes, so there's a guy who operates in the Meyersdal area, and his name is Luigi Liccardo. And what he does is he preys on old people. So he puts them in the townhouse, and he has a set contract. And then what he does is once you're in, he then changes it and adds all sorts of fees and demands, and he gets people there to take the old people's doors off, and he predominantly preys on old people. And then obviously he evicts them out, and then he keeps their 3 months deposit. And this is a scam he's had going for many, many years. Getting rich off other people's misfortune and them losing their money. And then obviously once they've lost their deposit, they can't even find new accommodation.
Yeah, Alex.
Yes.
Firstly, I can hear that you're very upset about this. So
I know this has been going on for a while, and I'd like to wring his neck.
Okay, I understand. I understand that you're very upset about this, and also taking advantage of old people is like taking advantage of kids. I just hate it. I absolutely hate it. We can't just say his name without giving him a right of reply, though. So now we're going to have to get him on the line, so that he then gives his side, because you gave his name and his surname, and that's not allowed. That could land you and me in hot water. So if he does want, the opportunity is open. If he heard it and he's upset about that, if he does want,
let him give his side of the story. We'd love to prove him wrong. We've got proof and evidence.
Have you guys pressed charges at the police? Because
we haven't, because he's such a slippery bugger. We haven't been able to. So
I think
and then he intimidates the old people, so they're obviously too scared. So it is what it is.
I can hear you've got a personal connection here. What is your personal story around this? What happened?
So legally, I can't disclose what the personal connection is.
Why? If you haven't pressed charges?
Yeah, we couldn't press charges because obviously it went to court and they found there wasn't enough evidence. So he's very sneaky in the way he operates. So very, very sneaky.
So legally, you've been gagged in when you guys lost in court. You were also
have been gagged. Exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly what's been happened.
So then it's fine then.
When you've got a high-powered lawyer in your pocket who operates with you, it's very difficult.
Oh, you are looking for no, guys, leave
trouble.
Alex alone, guys. This is everyone's show. Don't cut Alex off. We don't cut anyone off on the show. Okay, so Alex, I love that you called, and clearly this is why we had this conversation.
Yeah,
we can't all of a sudden want to gag you now and keep you quiet when we said call in and tell us of the rental
I'm just trying to protect the man in the street who's basically falling into a trap that he doesn't know of. So he doesn't use agencies, he does it all himself. And people are just falling into this trap and people are getting ripped off, and it's not right.
But
there is a God, and his turn will come, so I believe in it firmly.
I want to ask just quickly, because we're talking about this kind of stuff in general, right? So how does it work that he changes the contract after people have moved in?
That's illegal.
It is illegal. He comes up with all kinds of excuses. If they are a day late, for example, on paying rent, he already institutes legal action against them, even for being a day late. So then he has these penalties, and he cuts their power off. In some instances, he's even taken their front doors off their properties.
Okay. So basically,
which is all illegal.
Yeah, I get what's happening. So the contract. It's always every contract is there's a spirit around it, right? So obviously, he's just saying.
Sadly, his legal contract comes from P&A. But he just basically does as he pleases and gets everybody.
What's P&A?
Stationery shop.
Stationery shop. You can buy a lease from P&A.
Oh, okay. And so he changes that afterwards.
Yeah, he just changes that and does as he pleases.
Look, if he wants to fight what you're saying, he's more than welcome. The platform is his. We're not gonna, silence him as well. If he wants to come and challenge you, he may, because you did say his name. Alex, thank you so much for the call, and I'm really sorry that this is happening to people that are around you and that you love, and I really wish it would end if it is happening. Let's go to Emmanuel Masombuga. Did you listen to that call?
Yes. Good morning, Anele and the team. Yes, I did hear the call. It is quite shocking, and the unfortunate thing that it is quite a common problem. You have a lot of landlords who don't understand that an agreement in itself is very important. And that you can't unilaterally alter terms of an agreement without consent. Otherwise, it no longer becomes an agreement. So, in essence, a contract in itself is an embodiment of an agreement. If you as a landlord now come and try and impose certain conditions without there being an agreement, then it doesn't form part of the contract.
Okay, before you carry on, I need to quantify to people why it is that we're speaking to you and why you know so much already. His name is Emmanuel Masombuga. He's the chairperson of the Gauteng Rental Housing Tribunal.
That's correct. So, Emmanuel, I think that's the question, right? So, a lot of people are saying, and for all of us that rent and that move into a place, you get this contract. And what are the things you need to look out for? I think that's very important. Like, what are the sort of red flags that
you've been taken for a ride?
Like in the previous call, could be used to take you for a ride.
Okay, so Frankie, I think the starting point is just to explain that when you receive a contract can't just be imposed on you. You also have an equal bargaining power when it comes to a contract, and therefore you can't agree to terms which are unfair. So one of the things that you need to look out for example, as Anele had mentioned, and I think you guys had mentioned during the discussion, is a requirement that you must pay for a cleaning fee. I mean, it's common sense. Why should you pay for something for a mess that you didn't cause?
Right.
That in itself, in the context of the act, would be an unfair charge. And one of the most important things that we found as a tribunal is that a lot of landlords have this tendency of trying to charge tenants for an inspection fee.
Yes.
Now, you can't charge for an inspection fee because ultimately, if you're going to read the language of the Act, Section 5 in particular, it places an obligation on the landlord to conduct an ingoing and exit inspection. And such inspection must be done jointly, and it must be recorded, and that it must be reduced into writings.
Okay.
And if the obligation is on you as the landlord to ensure that the inspection fee is done, you can't now charge a tenant for for your obligation in terms of the law. So we've found that seems to be a trend, and I mean a lot of landlords and agencies say, well, we've been doing that, for 20, 30 years. Well, the fact that you've been doing that doesn't make it right.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the onus that falls to whoever owns the property to do they must pay the inspection fee to the agent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because ultimately, Frankie, you're the one that employs the agent, right?
Yes.
To do the inspection.
Okay.
So why must a third party pay for a person that you had employed? Because you have your separate agreement with the agent. So whatever's due and payable to the agent and the agent's commission must come from you as the landlord.
Do you know what's wild for me, Emmanuel, is that, with the voice note that we've gotten and, Alex, the call before and what you're telling us now, that no one from the rental side of things, like a landlord or agents, are calling in to defend themselves
to justify
because they know
stuff.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
They absolutely know that it's wrong, and people just succumb to it and they just fall, at the feet of because of desperation, the fact that you don't own property, so you have to rent and you have to put up with this rubbish. I hate it. I just hate people who take people for a ride.
Emmanuel, where can people get hold of the Gauteng Rental Housing Tribunal, and why? So in which scenarios do we come to you, and how do we get hold of you?
Okay, so our head offices are based at 129 Fox Street, the town in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Are you guys renting there, or do you own?
I'm not sure.
Okay, just checking.
I'm not sure. I think we're renting. So, but in our rent, if it is a rent, it would be a commercial lease.
Okay, 129 Fox Street, and email-wise?
Yeah. I'll give you a number.
Okay.
It's 011 630.
Say that again, 630.
Yeah.
5035.
5035. We have a website, which is, our email is rentaltribunal@gauteng.gov.za. Rental Tribunal, one word, @gauteng.gov.za. And just to also mention to you guys that we also have information offices throughout the province. So you just visit your local municipality. We have designated information officers so who can receive your complaint. And I think just to also respond to the question that you had asked me, under which circumstances must you come to the tribunal? As and when you have an issue with your landlord, as and when you have an issue with a tenant.
Okay.
Because we must also accept that
it's either way.
Both
hey?
sides.
Both sides work. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because sometimes you do have tenants who just refuse to pay rent.
And to move out.
In such situations, you find that landlords usually take the law into their own hands because, they're ignorant of the law by,
because they don't have 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have 6 months, buddy.
That's good, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. I think that's very useful for everyone.
129 Fox Street. The number is 011-630-5035. The email address, rentaltribunal@gov.za.
Look, I'm totally with this 3 payments because I rented out a property. The person paid a deposit in the first month's rent, and after that, he never paid again. I battled for 7 months to get him out of my property.
I think the biggest rental scam that's been seen is owners charging rates domestic affluent when the statements clearly have their names.
I would like to know, how do we verify new property agents? Because in Joburg, we're starting to have this problem of hijacked buildings. So what do I look out for to verify that this agent is actually legit.
Say goodbye now. Back to making your morning.
Anele and The Club.
I love this show. On 947.